Welcome, Pisces, to your reading. This is a general reading for the sign of Pisces for October 2017. Sun, moon, or rising, or any other like planet or aspect or whatever that resonates with you, and especially your moon sign. If your sun sign reading doesn't resonate, maybe check out your moon sign reading, and I'll put a link below so you can figure out what your moon sign is if you don't know, and your rising sign and all that. Okay, let's get started. So for you guys for this month, there's an element of sort of low moods, right? Which is, low moods and some maybe disappointment, maybe just having to do with those moods and feeling like you can't kind of get out of them or something, and that's a little bit stressful. Or disappointment also, maybe not related to that, but just separate part of this kind of like low mood stew. And also a sense of what's the word, authenticity, and not really like somebody doesn't want to like fake it, put on a happy face kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'm seeing some like obligation and that kind of thing, and sort of like not being stoked about doing things. I'm not seeing totally like releasing all of your obligations and things like that. I'm seeing kind of still like managing them, but not in like a fake happy-go-lucky way. It's like, I feel like shit and whatever. So that's kind of the first leg of it. And then the second leg is this this emotional stew, kind of giving you also like a little bit to work with, if that makes any sense, insofar as like you're almost in your element in a way where it's like you're gaining something from this, like all these like moods and emotions and things like that, if not some kind of maybe some kind of insight, but maybe more so just I want to say like a slight, like something that's somehow gratifying to you. Some kind of inspiration or something like that, especially if you're like an artist or something, or a writer or something like that. You may be coming in with some new like subject matter based on some of this like emotionalism that's around, or like I said, be having insights and things like that. If you're someone who's a little bit psychic or something, those things could be heightened a little bit, so it's like you're kind of getting something a little bit from it, but it's not like anything that's like really to show people right now. Like you're not like trying to, like, as I said, like put on a happy face or anything like that. You're just kind of like going with it. Like you're kind of going with these negative moods a little bit, and not so much like I'm not going to say they're not interrupting things at all. They probably are interrupting things in some way. I'm seeing a little bit of an aimlessness, and that may be where some of the low moods are coming from, or they're related. You know what I mean? This just depression, just kind of not really that stoked on things. But it may be something about that kind of low mood that puts you in a slower state of mind that's making things kind of or allowing things to kind of come in a little bit more because you're a little bit less busy-minded and busy in general. Or a little more directionless also, you know what I mean? So a little bit more open to suggestion kind of thing. Like, as I was saying, like a psychic element or something like that, is it's like your brain's not already like going forward in one direction, so it's kind of like this way and that way, and like just things coming in a little bit easier in some way. But I'm definitely getting that it's having to do with this emotion somehow, this somehow feeling in your element in some way related to this like emotional vibe. Yeah, and just really not faking it, just being pretty authentic. Yeah, okay. And some frustration. There might be some frustrations, as I said. I think that was the first thing I said. One of the first things I said was this, an element of some frustration due to maybe having to fulfill these obligations, or maybe feeling frustrated that you have to fill these obligations and you can't be, glad to do it, or something like that. Maybe something that you normally would be glad to do, or something that you're just not feeling it, or whatever, which can be a little bit stressful, and you might see things as start seeing yourself as a little more flawed and that kind of thing, and that can kind of spiral more into these negative moods, Okay, there's a little bit of an element of, like I said, it's a sort of like self-protective, but it's just it's that authenticity. It's that just, if you're upset, like not necessarily being super emotional and really showing it to everybody, but just feeling it, not putting on a show or pretending you're not feeling it or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to pick these up, and I'll put some more cards down for some advice for you guys, and I'll be right back. Okay, Pisces, I'm back with your advice. Here it is. They kind of want you to focus on taking things one at a time. I feel like I gave you guys this advice recently. Interesting. Or something similar. Anyways, it's about, yeah, like I said, taking things one at a time and staying a little bit more present and not thinking so much. I think there could be I shouldn't say not thinking so much, too much into the future, because there could be this kind of danger of losing time, basically. You know what I mean? If you're already kind of not motivated, you're already feeling low mood, and you start drifting off into the future, thinking about the future, perhaps getting overwhelmed because you're not, doing things as fast or as well as you could, or whatever, that kind of thing. You can lose a lot of time doing that. So they want you to kind of, during this time, really, like I said, focus on the moment, focus on getting one thing done at a time, and just doing things as they come up, and not overwhelming yourself with too many plans and thoughts and this and that. But to just be content with while you're being productive with that moment of productivity, right? And then just kind of move on to the next. Yeah, and rather than seeing things as ideal down the road, or perfect down the road, or seeing your mood clear up down the road, or seeing yourself being more productive down the road, but take that and move it more into the future, and try to do that on a day-to-day and on a moment-to-moment thing, do things when you can, and stay, like I said, stay present in the moment, and stay a little bit disconnected, like disconnect yourself from the overall a little bit more. If that makes sense. It might seem a little bit counterintuitive. I feel like you'd almost want to, be thinking about the future to keep yourself motivated or something like that. But this is very much kind of saying the opposite, which is that if you do that, you're going to get a little bit lost and end up kind of like just like going down the stream, as fast as time will move, and you're kind of standing still and not being super duper active, and expecting things to kind of pick up, and expecting your moods to pick up, and expecting that kind of thing to pick up. That you'll be better off really focusing on trying to work through, be a little bit productive through it, because it's not going to kind of just dissipate. I mean, of course, it's not going to be here forever, but it's definitely a little bit of time, I'm feeling, that you're going to have to get through, right? So in order to do that, you have to kind of be a little bit purposeful with where you are, where your actions are, and making sure they're kind of in the moment, and then also being a little bit more like tactile in the moment, I want to say. Hands-on kind of thing, engaged kind of thing, keeping a little bit busy, keeping a little bit more outwardly focused than necessarily going too inwardly focused, because again, that's you can lose time doing that. When you're in kind of a low space, kind of a low mood, you want to be a little bit stimulated. You know what I mean? You can give yourself things that are stimulating, mentally stimulating, and that kind of thing to do. You just want to make sure that they're productive, and that they're you're kind of using your time despite not wanting to, I guess. And it is a little bit more about, it's not necessarily about faking it. You can still have that sort of authenticity, but it may be about faking it a little bit more, you know, insofar as like not just resigning to your emotions and your whims and your moods and things like that, and not just purely accepting the little bit of comfort that you might get through that, or comfortability in dealing with those like kind of emotional realms. You know what I mean? Like I was mentioning before about like some aspect of this that feels a little bit valuable, or is giving you a little bit to kind of go on. You don't want to kind of resign yourself to just that. You want to be a little bit present still in your own life, so that later on down the road, it's not like, oh, whoops, 2 months gone and nothing done kind of thing. You know what I mean? At least you'll have gotten some things done, and you won't have enjoyed it in the moment. But, you know, that's that, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, definitely about focusing on also like, as I said, something you can get your hands into, something that you can keep not necessarily totally like physically active, but at least a little bit more physically oriented. Whether there's maybe some other people involved, or some obligations. Some obligations can kind of keep you going. You can kind of use those too. But just something that has a sort of a little bit more of an external bend to it, kind of thing. And that might help to elevate your mood a little bit too. Let's see here. Was that it? I think that might have been it. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it can be a little bit about you can do a little bit of like pleasure seeking / reassurance. You know what I mean? You can seek out things like that. Seek out some people to interact with that make you feel good, or that that kind of reinforces some more positive things, right, in your life, or in yourself, or something like that you can kind of some of those things reflected back to you from like this external environment might be a little bit helpful, you know, because you're inside it's a little bit like a little bit more of a negative vibe, so you might have to kind of make sure that you're gravitating towards and moving a little bit more towards towards some more positive situations, and doing it as a purposeful thing, even if you don't want to do it. You know, taking that as one of those like things that you can do in the moment, like but like get up and do one thing in the moment, and it can be a little bit exponential too, as far as like making you feel a little bit better, and making you want to like do a little bit more and that kind of thing. Somewhat typical depression, antidepressant kind of stuff. You know, go out and be a little bit active, but also kind of try to gain a little bit of separation from your emotions sometimes, right? Breathe through your emotions, kind of. Don't let them take you down. Don't let them like carry you away, you know, because you don't want to lose all this time. So yeah, I don't know if that's helpful. Hopefully it is. My camera turned off right as I started pointlessly rambling, so lucky you. Okay, I'm done. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was helpful, let me know. Comment and let me know. Thumbs up, subscribe, share. Yeah, okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.